Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with Trader Summit. I have Mr. Dick Matthews with us from Pardus FX. Mr. Richard Matthews, what's happening? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Not a lot, really. I think we're going to wait for the Bank of Japan coming up, and then at the end of the week we've got PCE deflators, haven't we, coming out of the States? But at the moment, I think dollar sterling stuck in a bit of a range, going up towards 125. Doesn't really want to go anywhere too exciting. Pretty much the same with against the euro, so it gets to 110, runs out of enthusiasm. Volatility is still real low, too low for my way of thinking, but hey, that's the way it goes. It just seems a really quiet market. Maybe we're waiting for the central banks next week and the week after.
Yeah, I've learned over the years, price action wise, when you get a move and then you get a consolidation, the longer we sit there, the more the risk is for a continuation of that move. And so you got this, you got the euro that's hanging out around 110, doesn't really want to give it up. You got the sterling that's trading around 124, 125, doesn't really want to give it up either. When these currencies just sit here and they're at these levels and they don't want to back off. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't wait to buy the euro at a parity. Are we going to see some dollar strength in this environment? I mean, it doesn't feel like dollar strength is coming right now, but what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think you may be right. I did an interview earlier this week with an Arab TV station, and they came out with this question about de-dollarization, which seems to be one of the buzzwords at the moment, which got me thinking about it, because I know that there is a feeling in the world, anti-US, anti-NATO, they put it all together. You got Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, some of the Arab states, some of the African states are pretty anti-dollar. And I think that they want to see the dollar lower. But then actually I started thinking about it, and there's a few good reasons not to be long at dollars. Looking at it from outside, straight off certainly there is this feeling of anti-Americanism in that sort of sector. 30% of the world, all countries, have got sanctions on it from the US, which I didn't realize, which is a huge amount. And I think that these people are a little bit twitchy. And then I start thinking, well, you've got this debt ceiling. Now, how many times have we had debt ceiling crisis? And, this one's going to be different. I don't think it will. I think they'll resolve it. But it just makes you a little bit nervy. And then I'm glad to hear that Biden's going to run again. Well, run is probably not the right word, is it? Going to limp into the next election. And you just think, however you feel, whatever your politics are, you've got the choice between Trump and Biden. It's not the greatest choice for the leader of the free world. Let's be honest about it. And I'm not, I'm not political at all, but you just watch it and you think, I mean, the man is not capable of doing the job now, let alone in 3 years' time. And he's just going to get worse. And I think that's really, really sad. So I think there's a lot of good reasons in the background to be shorted dollars. Also, you see First Republic looks a bit of a mess. And the dollar hasn't reacted as a safe haven currency, which you'd expect it to do so slightly. And the last time was a banking crisis, it didn't really jump up. So I am actually quite bearish of the dollar, and I think that this action, as you say, on cable and on dollar euro, it's just like consolidation, isn't it? And you might see them start pushing ahead a bit.
Yeah, when you talk about de-dollarization, and I know that's a big buzzword, there's always talk whenever things calm down. There's always, and there has been since I've been in the FX market, going on 22 years or so, just trading FX predominantly. There's always talk about trying to get away from the dollar. Is this time different? Is a good question that you ask. And I every time I say it is, but then somehow we get into a crisis, and then when the tide goes out, you find out who doesn't have their underwear on or don't own enough dollars. Yeah. And it seems like everybody's got to run out and start buying dollars again. That's I guess the thing that I think about in that type of situation.
And what do you replace it with?
That's the other
That's
good, the other part of the argument. What takes its place? The dollar, having this conversation with you, Richard, the dollar, we are in a dollar system, right? And until the system changes, I don't know how big of a change it will be. There could be a move away from the dollar, which I think it will be persistent and it's long term. But I think you bring up a great point. This time might be different with the debt ceiling. We have a lot of political, the most I would say politically strained government and country that the United States has seen in my lifetime, probably. So is either side going to be willing to come to the table to find an agreement, find some middle ground? That's why I think a lot of us that say this time is different, maybe it is different. So
I mean, the 1 month against the 3 months is pretty interesting, isn't it? In the deposit markets, you don't want to hold US paper after the debt ceiling. I don't know. I put up a tweet on Twitter because I'm not sure there is actually an official debt ceiling. I don't think there is. I think that it's like a random number, that it's sort of pretty loose. And
using the American football analogy, it's just we move the goalpost back. That's all it really is, right? That's all it really is in our calculations. But the thing is are we going to get to a point where we can't pay our bills? And I think that raises a great question that, when you were talking on your interview, I think that, viable concerns have been raised. And by the way, if you guys or gals have any opinions about this, make sure you jump in the comment section down below. Make sure you give us your comments about how you feel about the debt ceiling, and should it even be raised, and should we default, and should we stop kicking the can down the road? Because it is a great conversation. Here's the fear that I have, Mr. Matthews, as we march towards whatever the X date is, whether it's June, July, August, whatever date that the Treasury finds out that is the day that we will run out of money. I think that there will be increased volatility, and if you own dollars, that's the risk, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm really interested to hear, especially from Americans, actually, because I'm an innocent abroad on this, about their views on the debt ceiling, whether it's conceivable. One of my best mates is American, and he just came back and said the US doesn't default, end of story. And that's how I've been brought up and how I tend to believe. And there's always this little fear this time it might be different. So I am nervous of holding dollars, and I generally, you know me well enough, I just love the dollar normally, but I'm just a little bit nervous. The Fed's going to come out, they're going to raise rates, they're going to be higher for longer. They're going to stick on that mantra. There's no reason there really to do anything different. The ECB and Bank of England is probably going to do the same. And I think this debt ceiling is starting to worry a few people.
I think it is as well. Well, Mr. Matthews, I'm just gonna go with the sure bet right now. You and I will be having conversations about the debt ceiling multiple times before we hit that X date between now and then, whenever that day is. So in the meantime, I want to say thanks for joining us here at Trader Summit. Tell us what you do at Pardus FX there on the other side of the pond.
On the right side of the pond.
On the right side of the pond.
On the cold side of the pond, looking outside. I look after a few clients, just advise them or talk to them about how the markets are moving, and try and get to pick the right time to enter the markets to execute some trades for physical delivery. So, it's just fun.
Well, it's good stuff, Mr. Matthews. And I love having these conversations with you every week. So if you like these as well, make sure you give him a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel down below so you don't miss any of these conversations that I have with Richard Matthews of Pardus FX. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you next week.
I will. Have fun. Bye now.
Hey traders, Blake Morrow here. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also click the bell notifications so you do not miss any of our market-related trading analysis from some of the leading industry experts. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you in the next video.